This afternoon it was Marco Rubio, now it's Donald Trump. It's kind of this curious phenomenon in modern politics, the preemptive abdication of responsibility dressed as pragmatism. Trump, in his uniquely audacious, childish way, has declared that the United States will take a pass on brokering peace in Ukraine if it becomes very difficult. One might call this realism. I would call it a dereliction of duty. Donald Trump didn't shy away from grand promises. Before returning to office, he confidently asserted that he would end the war in Ukraine within 24 hours, not negotiate, not mediate, end. And this absurdly compressed timeline raised expectations not only among his supporters but also among his adversaries, who calculated their moves accordingly. It was the performance of omnipotence, not diplomacy, and now, having created an atmosphere of high-stakes brinkmanship, having seriously queered the pitch for Ukraine, Trump is quietly inching away from the responsibility he once claimed so cavalierly. The message: if this fails, it's not because I was wrong, it's because they are fools. Well, one of them might be. He's called Putin. The retreat is not a pivot, it's an escape route. Trump's phrase, "we'll take a pass," is not just lazy rhetoric. It's a diplomatic shrug of the shoulders while bombs continue to fall like dumps from Trump, and they fall on cities with people, cities like Sumy and Kharkiv, and it allows Trump to brand Russia and Ukraine as horrible people while absolving himself of any duty to lead, to broker, or even to endure the slog of real negotiation. Secretary of State Marco Rubio mirrored this sentiment, saying the US has other priorities and will abandon talks if things don't resolve in a matter of days. Imagine Churchill saying the same about the Blitz. Imagine Roosevelt taking a pass on D-Day. I think when Trump is taking a pass, he's got the wrong vowel. This isn't leadership. This is cowardice. Even as negotiations continue in Paris and Rome, the messaging from Washington is disjointed. Vice President J.D. Vance, the gerbil, expressed optimism while quietly pushing for a minerals deal that sounds more like a colonial resource extraction than peace building. And this deal, reportedly extending to Ukrainian energy infrastructure and oil rights, is not reconstruction, it's acquisition. Zelensky, understandably wary, is caught in a game where economic assistance is bundled with security guarantees that never quite materialize. Instead of deterrence, we offer corporate investment, says Trump. Instead of military guarantees, we waive contracts. Trump's announcement that the US might pull out of peace talks if they become too hard is classic Trumpian misdirection. You can imagine him saying, "I'm going to pull out if it becomes too hard." It echoes his broader strategy. Frame all failures as betrayals by others, all departures as deliberate exits, all unfinished business as intentional walkaways. He didn't lose the 2020 election, he was robbed. He didn't fail to deliver peace in Ukraine, he simply withdrew his talents. The logic is circular. When things go wrong, it's because the world wasn't worthy of Trump. But this is a dangerous precedent. Great powers cannot afford to act like sulking celebrities. Diplomacy is not a social media contract. It requires endurance, humility, and the ability to absorb failure without storming off like an angry suitor, like a jilted lover. If it becomes too hard, I'll walk away, I'll withdraw, I'll pull out. If the US abandons Ukraine or downgrades its diplomatic efforts, the vacuum will not remain empty. Russia will fill it with missiles, misinformation, frozen pipelines. China will interpret it as Western fatigue. Kyiv will be left to bargain for sovereignty with weakened leverage and a ticking clock, made all the harder because of Trump's interference and the removal of intelligence that forced the end of the Kursk escapade. Worse, the public will be told the US tried. We tried. And that Trump made an effort, and that all subsequent suffering is the result of foolish foreigners. The lie will be polished, repeated, and campaign tested. And yet, we must not forget, this is not just the failure to secure peace, it's the failure to even try when trying becomes inconvenient. In the end, Trump's talk of taking a pass vowel accepted, is not merely irresponsible, it's an insult to the very concept of statesmanship. To set impossible goals, to refuse to compromise, simply to get elected, and then to abandon the effort and blame others is not diplomacy, it's dereliction of duty, plain and simple. Or, let's find another expression, it's a lie. It's a deceit. It's a lie to win the White House, and history will not forgive leaders who, at a moment of global peril, choose to raise expectations, then to lower the flag. Trump spent too much time doing that, raising expectations and then lowering his trousers. Well, the world eventually is just going to respond with laughter. Laughter of derision, because that's what Trump deserves.